Today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the two leaders signaling a new chapter in bilateral relations. Here to discuss, Fareed Zakaria, the host of CNN's Fareed Zakaria GPS. Good evening, sir. Today, the president hosted, as I said, Israeli Prime Minister, and he had this critical issue. They talked about this critical issue, the two-state solution to peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Watch this.
So I'm looking at two-state and one-state. And I like the one that both parties like. I'm very happy with the one that both parties like.
So this is a major break from decades of partisan policy. What's going on here with that response?
I think what you're seeing there is, basically the breakdown of the national security process, where the president was obviously not briefed. He either doesn't want to do the briefings. We know he doesn't get the daily intelligence briefing anymore. Maybe there's nobody in the National Security Council who can brief him, but it sounded so bizarre, so casual, so, frankly irresponsible. What you'd be like, I don't know, at the end of the Soviet era, saying, if Poland wants to be independent, that's fine with me, but if they want to stay a part of the Soviet, orbit, that's fine with me too. I mean, what scenario can one imagine in which the Palestinians would say, yeah, we don't want to stay? They've been, fighting for a state since 1948. And you couldn't get a sense as to whether this was a seriously thought-out issue or whether, as so often happens with Donald Trump, he was just winging it.
Do you think that's why Netanyahu was laughing? It was surprising for such a serious question, right, when you're considering what's happening in that region, that Benjamin Netanyahu laughed. Perhaps he just did not, he's like, well, what is going on here? Was not a serious answer.
Yeah, I think he was thanking his good fortune that he'd been given this situation. If you remember, there was another weird moment where an Israeli reporter asked President Trump about the disturbing real rise in anti-Semitism that has taken place in the United States and whether he wanted to, in effect, disavow it. And Trump gave this totally bizarre answer where he said there's going to be a lot of love coming out of our administration, refusing pointedly, I thought, not to condemn the anti-Semitism that is real and rising in America. And so Bibi Netanyahu steps in and says, no, let me explain that, Trump in no way condones this. Why did Trump need Bibi Netanyahu to say that? Couldn't he have just come out and said, I completely condemn any form of anti-Semitism, and if there's somebody out there who thinks that they're supporting me in some way, I reject that? It was, the whole thing was kind of surreal, and it was embarrassing, frankly, to watch an American president so underbriefed and to be being given these assists by the Israeli Prime Minister.
Wasn't there a similar sort of odd moments with Prime Minister May in the press briefing as well? Yeah. Not
quite as bad as this. There's another moment here where Trump mentions a larger deal than the Israeli-Palestinian one. I think we have that clip where, he talks about, I think there might be even a larger deal here.
Yeah, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
Bibi and I have known each other a long time. A smart man, great negotiator, and I think we're going to make a deal. It might be a bigger and better deal than people in this room even understand. That's a possibility. So let's see what we do.
What does that mean?
It's weird because he mentioned it again and again. It might be a bigger deal, might involve more countries than Israel and one with the Palestinians. Well, this has been on the cards for a long time. The Saudis proposed it, the Arab League endorsed it in 2002. The idea being if the Israelis and Palestinians make peace, the other Arab countries would make peace with Israel. As I said, this was endorsed 15 years ago by the entire Arab League. It was re-endorsed in 2007, 10 years ago. Trump is talking about it as if he just had the idea over the weekend. Yeah. There's something unreal here with just the lack of briefing or preparation. It may be because Flynn is out and nobody's home, but it's truly bizarre.
Did you ever consider being his foreign policy advisor? Because that might help things.
I think if there were any such prospect, this interview has just taken care of that. Look, I think